Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel English Tutorial. I am Rajni Meena, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government College, रावतभाटा। पिछले वीडियो में हमने टी.एस. इलियट के बारे में पढ़ा था। अभी हम उनकी जो फर्स्ट वाइफ थी उससे सेपरेशन और उनकी रीमैरिज के बारे में पढ़ेंगे। By 1932, Eliot had been contemplating a separation from his wife for some time when Harvard offered him the Charles Eliot Norton Professorship for the 1932 and 1933 academic year. He accepted and left Vivienne in England. Upon his return, he arranged for a formal separation from her, avoiding all but one meeting with her between his leaving for America in 1932 and her death in 1947. Vivienne was committed to the Northumberland House Mental Hospital, Stoke Newington in 1938 and remained there until she died. Although Eliot was still legally her husband, he never visited her. From 1933 to 1946, Eliot had a close emotional relationship with Emily Hale. Eliot later destroyed Hale's letters to him, but Hale donated Eliot's to Princeton University Library, where they were sealed until 2020. When Eliot heard of the donation, he deposited his own account of their relationship with Harvard University to be opened whenever the Princeton letters were. From 1938 to 1957, Eliot's common public companion was Mary Trevelyan of London University, who wanted to marry him and left a detailed memoir. From 1946 to 1957, Eliot shared a flat at 19 Carlyle Mansions, Chelsea, and with his friend John Davy Hayward, who collected and managed Eliot's papers, styling himself keeper of the Eliot Archive. Hayward also collected Eliot's pre-Prufrock verse commercially published after Eliot's death as poems written in early youth. When Eliot and Hayward separated their household in 1957, Hayward retained his collection of Eliot's papers, which he bequeathed to King's College, Cambridge in 1965. On 10 January 1957, at the age of 68, Eliot married Esme Bellery Fletcher, who was 30. In contrast to his first marriage, Eliot knew Fletcher well, as she had been his secretary at Faber and Faber since August 1949. They kept their wedding secret. The ceremony was held in St. Barnabas Church, Kensington, London, at 6:15 a.m. with virtually no one in attendance other than his wife's parents. Eliot had no children with either of his wives. In the early 1960s, while then in failing health, Eliot worked as an editor of the Wesleyan University Press, seeking new poets in Europe for publication. After Eliot's death, Bellery dedicated her time to preserving his legacy by editing and annotating the letters of T.S. Eliot and a facsimile of the draft of the Wesleyan. Bellery Eliot died on 9 November 2012 at her home in London. Eliot's death. Eliot died of emphysema at his home in Kensington in London on 4 January 1965 and was cremated at Golders Green crematorium. In accordance with his wishes, his ashes were taken to St. Michael and All Angles Church, East Coker, the Blaze in Somerset, from which his Elliot ancestors had emigrated to America. A wall plaque in the church comments him with a quotation from his poem East Coker: "In my beginning is my end, and in my end is my beginning." In 1967, on the second anniversary of his death, Eliot was commemorated by the placement of a large stone in the floor of Poets' Corner in London, Westminster Abbey. The stone, cut by designer Reynolds Stone, is inscribed with his life dates, his order of merit, and a quotation from his poem Little Gidding. The communication of the dead is tongued with fire beyond the language of the living. The apartment block where he died, number 3 Kensington Court Gardens, had a blue plaque on it since 1986. His poetry. For a poet of his stature, Eliot produced a relatively small number of poems. He was aware of this even early in his career. He wrote to J. H. Woods, one of his former Harvard professors, "My reputation in London is built upon one small volume of verse, and is kept up by printing 2 or 3 more poems in a year. The only thing that matters is that these should be perfect in their kind, so that each should be an event." Typically, Eliot first published his poems individually in periodicals or in small books or pamphlets, and then collected them in books. His first collection was Prufrock and Other Observations in 1917. In 1920, he published more poems in Erebos, Prague, London, and Poems 1920, New York. These had the same poems in a different order, except that the ode in the British edition was replaced with Hysteria. In the American edition in 1925, he collected Bestland and Other Poems in Prufrock and Poems into one volume and added the Holoman to form Poems 1909 to 1925. From then on, he updated his work as collected poems. Exceptions are Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, 1939, a collection of light verse poems written in early youth, posthumously published in 1967 and consisting mainly of poems published between 1907 to and 1910 in the Harvard Advocate, and Inventions of the March Here, Poems 1909 1917, material Eliot never intended to have published, which appeared posthumously in 1997. During an interview in 1957, Eliot said of his nationality and its role in his work, he said, "I would say that my poetry has obviously more in common with my distinguished contemporaries in America rather than with anything written in my generation in England. That's I am sure of. It would be that what it is, and I imagine it would be so good. Putting it so modestly as I can, it would not be what it is if I had been born in England, and it would not be what it is if I had stayed in America. It is a combination of things, but in its sources, in its emotional springs, it comes from America." Cleo McLean Keynes notes in her biography that Eliot was deeply influenced by Indic traditions, notably the Upanishads. From the Sanskrit ending of the wasteland to the what Krishna meant section of four quart set shows how much Indic religions and more specifically Hinduism made up his philosophical basic of his thought process. It must also be acknowledged as Chinmoy Guha showed in his book Where the Dreams Cross T.S. Eliot and French Poetry that he was deeply influenced by French poets from Baudelaire to Paul Valéry. He himself wrote in his 1940 essay on W. E. Yeats, the kind of poetry that I needed to teach me the use of my own voice did not exist in English at all. It was only to be found in French. Literary criticism. Eliot made significant contributions to the field of literary criticism, strongly influencing the school of new criticism. He was somewhat self deprecating and minimizing of his work, and once said his criticism was merely a byproduct of his private poetry workshop. But the critic William Emerson once said, I do not know for certain how much of my own mind invented, let alone how much of it is a reaction against him, or indeed a consequence of misreading him. He is a very penetrating influence, perhaps not unlike the east wind. In his critical essay, Tradition and the Individual Talent, Eliot argues that art must be understood not in a vacuum, but in the context of previous pieces of art in a peculiar sense, most inevitably to be judged by the standards of the past. This essay was an important influence over the new criticism by introducing the idea that the value of a work of art must be viewed in the context of the artist's previous works. A simultaneously order of works. Eliot himself employed his concept on many of his works, especially on his long poem The Wasteland. Also important to new criticism was the idea, and as articulated in Eliot's essay Hamlet and His Problems, of an objective correlative, which possessed a connection among the words of the text and events, states of mind, and experiences. This notion concedes that a poem means what it says, but suggests that there can be a non subjective judgment based on different readers, different but perhaps corollary interpretations of a work. Most generally, new critics took a cue from Eliot in regard to his classical ideals and his religious thoughts. His attention to the poetry and drama of the early 17th century, his deprecation of the romantics, especially Shelley, his proposition that good poems constitute not a turning loose of emotion but an escape from emotions, but his insistence that poets at present must be difficult. Eliot's essays were a major factor in the revival of the interest in the metaphysical poets. Eliot particularly praised the metaphysical poets' ability to show experience as both psychological and sensual, while at the same time infusing this portrayal with, in Eliot's view, wit and uniqueness. Eliot's essay The Metaphysical Poets, along with giving new significance and attention to metaphysical poetry, introduced his now well-known definition of the unified sensibility, which is considered by some to mean the same thing as the term metaphysical. His 1922 poem The Wasteland also can be better understood in the light of his work as a critic. He had argued that a poet must write pragmatic criticism, that is, a poet should write to advance his own interest rather than to advance historical scholarship. Viewed from Eliot's critical lens, the wasteland likely shows his personal despair about World War I. Rather than an objective historical understanding of it, later in his career, Eliot focused much of his creative energy on writing for the theatre. Some of his earlier critical writing in essays such as Poetry and Drama, Hamlet and Its Problems, and the possibility of a poetic drama focused on an atheist of writing drama in verse. Honors and awards. नेशनल और स्टेट ऑनर्स, इसमें फर्स्ट है ऑर्डर ऑफ मेरिट, यूनाइटेड किंगडम में दिया गया 1948 में. द प्रेसिडेंशियल मेडल ऑफ फ्रीडम यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में दिया गया 1964 में. ऑफिसर डी ला लीजन डी ऑनर फ्रांस में दिया गया 1951 में. कमांडर डे आयोड्रे डेस आर्ट्स डेस लेटर्स फ्रांस में 1960 में. लिटरेरी अवार्ड्स, नोबेल प्राइज इन लिटरेचर फॉर हिज आउटस्टैंडिंग पायनियर contribution to present day poetry in 1948. Hanseatic Goethe Prize of Hamburg 1955. Dante Medal of Florence 1959. Drama Awards 1950 Tony Award for Best Play for the Broadway production of The Cocktail Party. 1983 Tony Award for Best Book of a Musical for his poems used in the musical Cats. 1983 Tony Award for Best Original Score of his poems used in the musical Cats. Music Award, Ayer Novello Award for Best Song musically and lyrically for his poems used in the poem Memory 1982. Academic Award, inducted into Phi Beta Kappa 1935. 13 honorary doctorates including ones from Oxford, Cambridge, the Sorbonne and Harvard. Other honors, Eliot College of the University of Kent, England, named in his honor. Celebrated on US commemorative postage stamps. Star on the St. Louis Walk of Fame. Thanks for watching the video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.